What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
and once again, we're back at it to answer more questions in another installment of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. This is a brand new channel, so subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe so that we can continue giving you guys more and more questions. So this question comes from, or I guess answers, because you give us questions, we give you answers. Question comes from Crash R1. Do you think the Emperor is helping or keeping his loyalist sons in the warp? Would being in the warp make it easier to communicate with them? That's a good question because most loyalist Space Marine Primarchs, just Primarchs in general, are in the warp, right?
Yeah, like Lehman Russ left to go into the warp. Jagdai Khan went into the warp to go against the Dark Eldar.
Rogaldorn was like, well, his hand was taken off, but he went into the warp too.
Yeah, to fight chaos.
The only person, or the only loyalist Primarchs that were not in the warp was Sanguinius and Guilliman. Guilliman's back.
Yeah.
Even the Lion went in the warp.
Well, he fell asleep in the rock.
Oh, yeah. He was taking a nap.
Yeah, but now he's back too.
Mm-hmm.
And Sanguinius is dead. Ferrus Manus is dead. So, yeah, I mean, everybody pretty much is chilling out in the warp.
So I wonder if Games Workshop is actually trying to, or is bringing back the Primarchs that were not in the warp as individuals, and then all of a sudden they're going to go whoosh, everybody from the warp comes in, or all the Primarchs that are in the warp come in. That's when you're going to have Jagdai Khan, Lehman Russ, and all of these Primarchs that their chapters are not as popular. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because, like, I don't see that many White Scars players.
No.
Even Space Wolves, it seems to be probably the most popular of the unpopular Space Marines.
True. They have a standalone codex, but I feel that most Space Wolf players are children.
Yeah, like I feel like whenever you jump into playing Warhammer 40K, Space Wolves will be your first army.
Yeah, it was our first army.
Mm-hmm.
And look at us now. We're adults. We play Xenos.
Yeah.
So, play Xenos, guys. Oh, but to answer the question, is the Emperor communicating with his Primarchs? I think he's constantly communicating with everybody at all times. I don't think that he's specifically targeting, I'm gonna tell Jagdai Khan, or I'm going to keep in contact with Jagdai Khan.
Yeah. You got to remember that other Primarchs are like Psychers, and the Emperor is like the strongest Psyker, so there's got to be some type of like, not necessarily communication, but some type of like presence that they're aware of.
Yeah.
So there is some type of maybe feedback, but not so much as like a, hey, how you doing today? Oh, I'm good, Pops, type thing.
Yeah, and I think if you are the type of person that believes that the Emperor has the ability to communicate with all his Primarchs in the warp constantly, you drink the Kool-Aid, the Imperial cult Kool-Aid, because the Emperor is still human. He's just a really powerful Psyker. So the idea of a being able to communicate with all of his sons and the Saints and the Inquisition all at once is just kind of mind-blowing. Think about it. Not even the Chaos Gods can do that with their greater demons.
Yeah.
The greater demons are just out and about doing their own thing, and the Chaos Gods are like, meh.
But at the same time, greater demons, they're still demons, so it's like they're a part of their patron god.
And even then, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, like Scarbrand, he hit Khorne.
I know.
Look what happened to him. He like flung him for, I think, 7 days straight in a place where time doesn't exist.
Yeah, that story is basically like, imagine you took a piece of your nail off, and then that nail stabbed you, and then you flicked it across the room.
And it disappeared and then reappeared like a month later.
Yeah, and it's one of the most powerful creatures or demons in real space.
Yeah. That's why his face is all like tore up and his wings are all tattered.
Which is a cool model.
And at the same time, think about that. You were hit by a chaos god and survived.
Yeah. Well, flicked.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, a chaos god imposed some type of
Pain.
physical contact.
Yeah. I think out of all the Chaos Gods, Khorne is the only one that I think has gotten really like solid. Mm-hmm. He did this, he did that, and it translates to something in real space. Because another question that we get a lot is, can the Chaos Gods materialize in real space? And the answer is no. They're unfathomably large. So this concept of flicking a greater demon is unfathomably insane.
Almost like a Big Bang type event.
I wonder what it sounded like.
Spoo.
Yeah. Next question.
This one's by Trazen. How does the Imperium sustain the high birth rate it needs to sacrifice so many to wars while still growing in population to achieve what they need to achieve?
Relationships in 40K are very open, and Bridget B is on every TV station of all of the Imperial highborns and propaganda stuff. So everybody's horny all the time.
That's right. You can't have a high population without making people do it.
Think of Blade Runner when what's the chick? Have you seen Blade Runner?
Mm-hmm. A long time ago.
The main chick who's like dancing in the streets, and there's a hologram of her. She's not real. She's AI, but my God, she's beautiful. I mean, she's real in real life. She's an actress, but
You're talking about the new Blade Runner?
Yeah, the new Blade Runner.
So you're talking about Ana de Armas.
Yes. Oh, she's Hispanic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's something else.
She's amazing. That's what I want to see in a 40K movie. Like, give us that sexualized version of the Imperium. I want to see some Sisters of Battle, like, half naked.
That's Lanesh. No.
Yeah. But yeah, how do they keep their birth rates up other than the nonsense that we're saying?
So one of the ways, which is highly illegal, highly immoral, is cloning.
True. The rumor is that the Death Corps of Krieg might be doing it, just to keep up with the constant, like...
Because they have, like, boy soldiers because their population can't keep up with their wars.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of vat-grown humans, but it's just a rumor. And we actually just read Angron, Slave to Nuceria, and in it kind of talked about the simulacrum and a very similar thing of, like, kind of... robot/human things being controlled by a mind.
Right. And you could see how that can be used to basically branch off of the Imperium and become their own, like, superpower.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's completely off limits. Nobody should clone in 40K or in the Imperium.
Right. If you want to see exactly how powerful that is, like, definitely check out our other channel, the OMS podcast, where you guys can read Angron Slave to Nuceria and see how the World Eaters fared against the simulacrum.
Not good.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It is. Like, when you think of the World Eaters, these guys are like butchers, beasts, and they didn't do good against clones.
Nope. And then also, and then another way of maintaining it is just making it a rule that you have to have children. So kind of, I think China did that, didn't they?
I thought they had the other thing. Where
Oh,
they
like killed.
You couldn't have because the population was going too out of control and food shortages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is what we see at, like, hive cities.
Yep.
Like, there's not enough work, or sometimes there's too many people and there's not enough, like, food, housing, but you need that amount of manpower to get the cities going.
Yeah. And this question really makes me think about how in the Imperium of Man, planets are really diverse. So for you to say, how does the Imperium do this? Well, it changes planet to planet. On a feral world, it'll be hard to keep a population up because they're being consumed by freaking, like, yetis and the kraken and stuff. But then you go to a hive world, and yeah, obviously population can be easily maintained just because everybody's fucking.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
And then you go to, like, shrine worlds where you're not supposed to fuck.
Yeah.
You're supposed to praise the emperor, and then a stork is going to give you a baby.
and let's talk about pleasure world. Ooh. Next question.
This one is by Henry Bayman. Why do we have to put a question in front of our question in order for you to answer our question? Is it because I have this question? Which subfaction of humanity do you think is most likely to enjoy a thumb in the bum?
By subfaction, do you mean abhumans? I think that's what you mean.
I would assume so.
So what abhuman race likes it in the butt?
Ratlings?
Yeah, they're diminutive.
Ooh, we can't forget about the furries.
Oh, yeah. But then again, just because you're a furry doesn't mean you want it in the butt.
Yeah, I think even squats would enjoy it. Because, I mean, why not, right?
True.
Don't knock it till you try it.
True. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out with us. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll talk tomorrow.
As always, it's been the Sound Alchemist here with
First One.
And we are out.
Oh, refuse to put my freedom first.